I'm Dr. Ariel Polanca, and you're watching The Step. Hi, Leanne. Welcome to The Step.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
It is so nice to have you. You're in a pretty cool spot right now. I was hoping that you could tell our viewers what you're doing right now.
Well, my background is my home office, but I'm a little bit fooling you because I'm in Las Vegas at South Point Casino, where we've been competing for a week with our horses. We have 18 horses here, and we're at a national competition. It's called Cowboy Mounted Shooting, and I just finished. It's a 5-day competition, and glad it's over. It was a lot, when you compete, all the emotions and things that go into it, but it was a lot of fun. We this is our 13th year here.
That's amazing. And you said you had 18 horses there?
This here, yep. My husband's a
Wow.
trainer, and so he has clients here. Our whole family competes, and there's still I'm a lower level. There's a few upper levels in our family. My stepson's an overall world champion. My stepdaughter's a world champion. My husband's won lots of national titles, and they still have their last run this afternoon. And my stepdaughter's in it to win it, so hopefully she'll have a nice run and we'll go home with some
Fingers
titles.
Fingers crossed. Well, I know it's the bit in the middle of a really, really busy time, so I really appreciate you taking the time out of this busy time to be with us today. I'd like to kind of explain our relationship. Leanne is actually my patient, and she underwent bilateral bunion surgery at different times. And when we were brainstorming different guests to be on the podcast, as I've said before, she was an absolute no-brainer to me because I just think that you have so much insight and so much wisdom to share with other people. So I'd like to start out with first asking, what brought you into my office? What finally brought you in to say, this is an issue that I would like to have addressed?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to lie, a little bit of vanity.
Mhm.
I had these huge bumps on the sides of my feet that were so ugly, and they were very in the way of wearing pretty shoes, and they were starting to impede, you know, what I could do. I mean, but it did start out really with like, these are ugly and I want them off. But then it kind of got to a point where I everywhere I went, I had shoe drama. I had to pack one pair of shoes for the walk from the car to the office, and then another pair of shoes in the office that I could handle for a short amount of time, and then the pain would kick in, and it became just a lifestyle problem. I mean, it was just always there, and I couldn't get away. You can't get away from your feet. I
Right.
love to play pickleball. I love to cook and garden. I like to do CrossFit. I love to ride, and all of those things were affected because of the bunions. So I talked to some friends who had had it done, and it's funny how you get so many different opinions and stories about people's experience, but I decided to make my own judgment, and I went to my primary, and he referred me to a different doctor who then somehow in that process I found you. And I'm so glad I did. It was definitely a great experience. Yeah.
So came to my office and we had a discussion
Hmm.
and we talked through the different options
Yeah.
and we elected to go through with the surgery.
Yeah. I was
And you had,
surprised. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
oh no, you're perfectly fine. You go ahead.
Well, I was because at that point I'm reliving the process. I'm reliving that time when we met, and I went in thinking, okay, I'm going to get this both feet done at the same time, and I had my own sort of idea of how this would all shake down. And you were like, no, that's not how we're going to do this. We don't do the same. We don't do both feet at the same time. And I was so disappointed. I was like, why? And you explained the reasons, and they made a lot of sense. And so then I was even more surprised because I thought, oh, I'll be back in 6 weeks for the other, and you said no, I'll see you in a year. And I was just so like, what? You've got to be kidding me, a year. But I was very, very, very proud and glad that I followed your advice.
And it's not that you have to wait for a year. I have just found in my personal experience that most patients do.
Oh, yeah.
I think that you can do the surgery within 6 to 8 weeks of each other, but as we like to say as orthopedic surgeons, you need a good leg to stand on. And for even an MIS bunion procedure, you are breaking two bones in the foot. So when patients ask what recovery feels like, I say it feels like you have two broken bones in your foot. And to break two bones in one foot and then to break two bones in the other foot, that's usually not a pleasant experience. So most of my patients like to have one bunion surgery done first, and then they like to get their life back. They like to live their life, enjoy their life for a year, and then they're ready to come back and have the other one done, like you did.
I and
But
and I tell you that was excellent advice. I if I had to redo it, I would not do it any other way. It was absolutely the right way to handle it. Yeah,
and you had what I really loved, and you and I have talked about it, you had a really different recovery course between the first and the
I
second one.
did.
And you approached it in a different way. And I was really hoping that you could share with our viewers that your different approach to the two different surgeries.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I was given really good advice by your team, about elevating and all of the things that go into the recovery. But that whole thing, hindsight's 2020. So when I had the first one, I learned a lot. And so the second one, I did things a little differently. And there were a few things I did the same. And one of the things that I did the same that really worked for me that I would highly recommend anyone who's considering any kind of surgery is to just really prepare your life. I spent some time looking into different food sources food delivery sources that I could have healthy meals delivered so that I wasn't relying on my family. Every time I wanted something to eat, I could um, go in and pick something that was healthy that I could do on my own because I certainly wasn't going to be cooking. Um, I set up my recovery area, with books and shows. And, I really took my time in preparing for that downtime. And that served me very well. That was a game changer, just really being prepared. I knew when I came home from the surgery what my plan was. I had my area for my pain medication management. I, had my notepad to write down the times that I needed to take the medication. I had my water source. One of the things that I did differently was the elevation process. If you think you're elevating high enough, double it. You're not high enough. You can't get high enough. I The first go around, I ordered a pad from Amazon, and I had my leg up, and um, I had some swelling, and it just the second time around, I doubled it, and it was such a game changer. I mean, I had that leg up so high, um, and also just the mental part of it. I just feel like I'm also a breast cancer survivor. I've been through chemo, mastectomy, radiation, all the stuff. And I feel like, we can deal with this one of two ways. You can really look for the blessings and the things to be grateful for, or you can really dive into like the poor me and it's hurting and this sucks. And it's both okay. There's no judgment. It's okay to feel sorry and feels bad and kind of have a pity party and all that. But for me personally, I found that just really looking for things to be grateful for, in the midst of pain and inconvenience, it helped me so much. And I saw things in my life that I typically would never have even noticed because, we're busy and out and about and I'm doing this and that. Well, when you're forced to like lay around and read books, and you're looking for things to be grateful for, you just are like, wow, I really do enjoy the sound of birds chirping. you know I didn't realize how much I liked that until you start kind of noticing things like that. But I think that was a long answer, but the recovery was different on the second time because I think I just had the experience, but I think I elevated more, and I also found this ice boot from Amazon that was amazing. Definitely
Game
wear a little
changer, right?
sock. Wear a little sock
Mm-hmm.
because your toes will go numb. And a very thin little sock. Uh, but that boot, man, I still have it. I won't get rid of it because every once in a while you get sore feet just from being on your feet all day. And those ice boots are really, really nice devices.
Preparation is key. And yeah, all of our for our patients, they have a packet that they're given pre-op, and it has all of the different, buy this on Amazon, the elevation, slide, the ice boot, etc. Because I just think that you really prepared yourself for the second surgery mentally as well as just your physical surroundings. And I really love that because there is a mental aspect to recovery. And when like lovely people, lovely active people like you come into my office, I'm always so happy to be your doctor and to start this journey with you. But there's always that bit of hesitation on my end because I know that there's going to be a period of time where you're going to struggle because you are just such an active, healthy person. And this is a downtime. There's a downtime when it comes to
Totally.
recovery. And so I think that just a gratitude practice and to just understand that this is a short period of your life and we will get you back on your feet. We'll get you back on your horse. We'll get you back to a healthy lifestyle, but there is a short period of downtime.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely overestimated the pain and underestimated the inconvenience. And so I would just encourage people not to be afraid of the pain because I honestly had very little pain. I really did. I was not. I've heard people say, "Oh, it was the worst thing I've ever been through, and it's so painful, and oh man, it's awful." That was not my experience at all. And I don't know if that's
Yeah.
because you're so good at your job,
Oh,
but
gosh. Thank you.
the pain was not what I recall as being the worst part. It was inconvenient. You're on that little scooter, you've got the walking boot, but I'll tell you what, I would absolutely do it again. I mean, my feet look great. I mean, I can wear sandals, I can wear heels, I can wear boots. I'm out there on the court running around. I have no pain at all. It was I'm glad it's over, but I'm really glad I did it. Really glad.
What advice would you give to a someone that was thinking or contemplating having bunion surgery?
Do it. Don't wait. Don't wait till you're older. I've heard people say, uh, well, if it's not painful, why are you doing this? And my bunions really weren't in like horribly painful. They were just like in the way. But you told me once, this is not going away. This is going to continue to grow and get bigger. And the older you get, the harder you're going to make, the surgeon's job and the recovery. It's not worth waiting. Just get in there, get it done, and move on with your life. If it's causing a lifestyle inconvenience, or if you have shoe drama like I did, you're always packing shoes for short walking distances, or if you're thinking, oh, I can't do the run because my bunions, do it. If it's on your mind, just go in and get it done. It's worth it because now I'm done and I'm healed, and this is not anything I'm going to have to fool with when I'm older. I just turned 54, and I wouldn't want to go through this much later, or go through that surgery much later in my life. I'm glad I did it when I was, active and healthy and, young enough to just deal with it.
Deal with it. Is there anything you would have done differently?
Well, I would have elevated higher on the first one,
Mhm.
and really just kept that leg up. I really underestimated the importance of that elevation. It really, really helped me when I had the second one. Um, I really don't think so. I mean, I think just I'm really proud of how I handled it. The preparation was so helpful. I really took my time and making sure I was ready. I read some great books. Um, I just I really don't think I would have done anything different. I mean, I would encourage people to just like look at your calendar. For me, we have our horse competition season. And I chose a time where, it was downtime. It was a time of rest, and we didn't have a full schedule. And that's hard to do for a lot of people. I mean, I have friends that we're trying to get together and every weekend's booked for 6 years. And so try to just carve it out and take the time for yourself, and consider it self-care and self-love. And I don't think I would have done anything different. I really don't. The first time I didn't ice as much and I didn't elevate as much. And the second time I did that both more, and it really served me well. Hmm.
I almost feel like you gave yourself like a spa experience your second
Yeah,
time. Like
totally.
you actually allowed yourself this space to recover. And then you did. And you allowed yourself the space and the energy to recover, and you just had a better experience. And just, from a surgeon standpoint, I have seen that in my patients. The patients that have a bit of a hard time with recovery are the ones that push it, the ones that try to get back to work too fast, the ones that don't dedicate that personal time to recovery. Well, then they're more swollen, then they're more sore, then they have more pain. But if you do take that time, then the whole recovery process is it's just a better experience.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's no doubt about it. And if you can work from home, take advantage of it. Take advantage of all your resources. Like, really
Yeah.
determine what are your resources. Well, who are your support people? What is my recovery plan? How long do I really have? And can I push it? People say, "Oh, I only have 2 weeks." But do you, like, can you push it? Can you figure out a way to give yourself more time? I find, employers and family members, if you communicate, really communicate with your people at work and your family, like, this is what I'm going to be going through, and I'm going to be out, I'm going to need help. We're, I think, oftentimes just so afraid to ask for help, and we feel vulnerable. But I found that served me well. My husband and I had to talk about it, and I said, "You're going to have to help me with the dogs and the garden, and things that are at my wheelhouse. You're going to have to step in." And he was like, "Great." And we talked about it. It wasn't like I came home from surgery and I was like, "Dude, why aren't you helping?" It was like, This is my expectation. This is what I need from you. And can you do that? Are you okay with that? Are you going to be able to carve out time out of your schedule to do these things for me?" And have that conversation, and get on the same page. And then things tend to go more smoothly. I mean, we
Just
all know that
so much
our husbands aren't
preparation.
going to do it the same as we're going to do it, but that doesn't mean they're doing it wrong.
Doesn't mean they're doing it wrong.
That's right. The dogs
Just
got
like
fed.
parenting.
The garden was fine. And that's the thing, hey, it's all going to be there. Yeah, I had some extra weeds. Yeah, there was this, there was maybe some of that. But it's good to practice just letting it go, and
Mhm.
let it just be. And then it'll be waiting for you, when you get back.
And you will
So
get back.
you will, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing. Like, I last year, I wasn't in the same spot. I have walked around in my cowboy boots for a week. I brought 2 pairs of boots and 1 pair of tennis shoes. The last time, and many times before, I had like 10 pairs of shoes, like different boots for different things. It was just a nightmare. I mean, it was just the shoe drama was just exhausting.
I
And
feel like I love that term. You've coined it, where I'm going to use it, the shoe drama. We're
shoe
going to use that
drama.
from here on out.
Yeah, like, who
Yep.
has time for shoe drama? Just throw on your boots and go ride your horse, Like, are
And I love that you use my tagline, and that's it. The bunion recovery. A lot of people overestimate the pain and underestimate the inconvenience. We don't fix bunions like they used to be fixed. If you talk to your grandma about her bunion
yeah,
surgery, it's not going to be what we do these days. People used to stay in the hospital for 5 days after bunion surgery. We're now doing minimally invasive techniques, tiny, teeny tiny little incisions. And I never like to underplay. It is still a surgery. It is still a surgery with a recovery course. But yes, I think that people sometimes, have gotten poor advice from what used to be. And it's a completely different, the modern experience is a completely different experience.
Yes, yes. And I would encourage any patient listening to this who's considering this process. I did find that there are different processes to this. And the way you approached this and the correction that you made, I mean, it's permanent. And I don't want these things coming. I have a girlfriend who went through this and they came back. Oh, could you imagine going through that? And then all of a sudden they're appearing again. That would just be so disheartening. And so I would really do your homework and make sure that you have a surgeon that uses this innovative technology and this method. It's absolutely, you don't want to mess around with this and go to somebody that has an old fashioned approach or a gimmicky uh, way of this. I did see another foot surgeon that saw the scars on my foot. I went, I mean, this is kind of gross. This will probably be edited out, and I don't blame you if it does, but I had this ingrown toenail and it was just bugging me and I couldn't get it to go away. And so I saw this local foot gal, and she's been around for a long time. And she said, "Well, what is this scar on your foot?" And I said, "Well, I had bunion surgery." And she goes, "Bunion surgery? What? I don't understand these scars." And she was fascinated. And I showed her the images and stuff, and she just couldn't believe it. And she does bunion surgery. And I was like, "Oh my God, can you imagine if I would have gone to her?" Like, oh, I just, yikes.
Yeah.
So really just, there's a lot of surgeons out there, and make sure that and I will say, like, Dr. Polanka, I loved your energy. You're a sporty gal. Like, you have a great way of interacting. You're a real no nonsense, and you don't get too much into like the fluff of all this. It's like, yeah, this is the deal. This is how this goes. And I really appreciate that. I really like you as a person. I found that to be
Oh
very
man.
helpful with my cancer doctors. I have a team of women. They weren't the first group that I chose, and I love that team. I love that team. I love those people, and I think about them in my gratitude practice. And I mean, I get like emotional because they changed my life. And then I add you to that group. I mean, just incredible women that have helped me through the most just crazy wild rides. And so I really appreciate your care and enthusiasm, and you can tell you're into it. You could tell like you enjoy what you do, you enjoy helping people. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely my surgeon. When I left, I told my husband, I was like, I really, really like Dr. Plonk. I found my person. And if you don't feel that way about your surgeon, keep looking. Like, you got to like the person. Like, that old saying, like, would you want to go have a beer with them? Like, I'd love to go have a beer with you someday, or a glass of
I
wine,
agree. We
Yeah,
should.
like, you gotta like each other. It's a big deal.
I I think
And your whole team, everyone, like, I don't know if the anesthesiologist and all the other people are like part of your team, but everyone was so great and so helpful and so kind. And what you all have to go through with like the education system and the medical system and all the debt and all the stuff you go through to help me not have a bunion, it's just wild to me when I think about all that. Like, wow, what you all had to go through for me to be laying on this operating table and everyone's in there doing their thing, buzzing around, and the lights. And um it's quite an experience. And the people that are part of it are very special people. And I hope patients spend time thinking about that. Like, it's not all about me, it's about us and this relationship and this journey. I mean, this isn't like a thing that just, this is the human body. It's like we're in this together. I feel like patients sometimes walk in. I saw this a lot in the cancer experience, and it's an opportunity to just be so self-focused and self-absorbed, and you're not going to enjoy the experience as much. I mean, you're not going to enjoy the experience really at all, let's face it, but you will get more out of it if you go into this not so self-absorbed, and you're thinking about your doctor and your surgeon as your team, and it's going to be a more fruitful experience. And I would encourage people to think about your surgeons and all those folks that are in there helping you. Think about them as humans, and what they've had to go through to get to the point to where they're helping you. And I think you'll find that when you have gratitude and you think about other people when you're experiencing pain and suffering, it helps sort of neutralize it, and it recalibrates this experience. And so yeah, it's a crazy world that you guys live in, the medical world. It's wild. I've listened to podcasts and stuff, and Joe Rogan's got some amazing people that I've listened to, and it's tough, man.
It's a crazy world we all live in, but you're right. We have a uniquely crazy world as well. And you hit the nail on the head. Fit is really important. You know, the doctor-patient relationship is a really unique and a very precious one. And I do think that finding that fit is important. And just for our listeners and viewers, the surgical technique that the Leanne is talking about for the bunions is a minimally invasive bunion repair. So that's what she had on both of the sides, and I'm so happy we had such a good outcome together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and it
think
sucks because I'm not going to see you very often because I only have 2 feet. I
we're
mean, in
gonna
one
just
way,
have to go.
that's great.
We're gonna have to go get that beer, I
Yes,
guess.
we're going to have to go out and have a beer. I would really like that.
Me too. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap up. It was
Okay.
so great to see you. Good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And to
Thank you for
all,
having me. It was really an honor. I really feel privileged for this opportunity to share my story. And if I help one other person, then I feel like, wow, that's amazing. So thank you for this opportunity.
I know that you will. I really know that you will.
Thank you.
To all our listeners and viewers, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you the next time.